Hey y'all, it is November the 30th, 2025. And what I think I'm going to do is shoot this video and then upload this video immediately. It's going to throw my series out of order, but it's not really that important. What's the order of it, bub? All right. If you haven't yet caught on, what I'm attempting to do is upload a video every day, all right, to become regular in a way that I've never been regular before here upon YouTube. And the reason is because I don't live a regular lifestyle. If I was to try to dedicate myself to shooting a video every single day so that I could post one every day, it's not ever going to happen. It's never going to happen. And so I had the idea that I would film all these videos and then upload them one by one every day, all right? So I do have plenty that are in the can right now, so as to say. But I thought I would jump this one to the front of the line, bub, because it's very interesting. And I want to express a thought and a theory that certainly has been expressed by somebody somewhere, but I haven't heard it. I'm sure I'm not the first person to express this theory that I'm about to lay upon you right now, but I haven't heard anybody say it. And it's very interesting. All right, right now behind me I have Sunday's broadcast of the Alex Jones Show, the Emergency Sunday broadcast. All right, and I heard a report, which I'm going to share with you here in a second. I heard a report from John Baum that I found to be quite interesting, bub. Very quite interesting. And it led to a theory of mine that I want to share with you. So I'm going to share this video clip with you real quick. It's going to be a couple of minutes. And actually, before that, let me go ahead and play an InfoWars commercial, because if you never had anything from InfoWars, I know it's kind of hard when you're abroad and stuff. The shipping is all different. But if you never had something from the InfoWarsStore.com, but more recently the AlexJonesStore.com, then you're truly missing out. Right now, I know a lot of people don't do it. A lot of people won't do it. But you're truly missing out because it's the best of the best. So let me go ahead and play the commercial. But then right after that, the John Baum report, which is like, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. And get a load of, for example, the report is dealing with Somalians. Now, some people might know that Donald Trump recently went on Twitter at the very tail end of Thanksgiving and laid down a fire rant like nobody could believe. And I do recall in the rant, although it was very long, part of the rant was Donald Trump said he's going to get rid of the protective status of all Somalians in Minnesota. That sounds drastic. I don't know exactly what would come of that. Probably loads of chaos in Minnesota. All right. So that's still pending, and Lord knows loads of chaos is probably going to come out of Minnesota in every which way. All right. But let me go ahead and play the commercial.
We're here, folks. I mean, this is it.
Unrestricted warfare is without bounds. That is what we are in the midst of right now, and everybody needs to understand that.
There's one variable in this fight. It's you. Do you share the articles, the videos, the reports? Do you download the free app and share it? Do you buy the products? I mean,
I do.
You're crazy, literally.
You are crazy.
You think I tell you about my colostrum? Great skin, great hair, great
I do
libido.
colostrum.
We got the best.
Amazing.
Can I just say that? Think I'm gonna sell you something that
He
doesn't work?
doesn't just say
You think I tell you
that.
Ultra Methylene Blue is an incredible game changer?
Methylene
Be
Blue
careful,
gets
it's really
y'all
strong.
tingly, bub.
You think I'm just saying Irish sea moss is great and does all these amazing things? No, you hear the callers. It changes their lives. My information is cutting edge because I don't want to be the liar. I want to be the guy that's right. I enjoy it. I don't lie about freedom and people and things that matter. I cannot do it. And I'm telling you, our products are kick freaking ass.
Kick freaking
the biggest
ass.
sell ever at the AlexJonesStore.com. Buy any supplement and get
1776,
any other supplement you want. That's why it's different. Normally it's buy one, get one free, the same thing. You can buy a $20 supplement and get a $40 supplement free. These are expensive supplements. We have the best, the strongest, the turmeric, all of it. It is the best. Energize me. I am in total commitment against these people. I am waging war against the most disgusting filth ever. And all I ask for is that you empower me in this war. TheAlexJonesStore.com.
This hat and sweatshirt were the perfect gift. Thanks.
I have that
This is an
sweatshirt, bud.
important message from InfoWars. Stay informed, stay free.
This is all AI, bud.
Hey, thanks.
It's
I
off
love
of
my
Grok.
new InfoWars
The
shirt,
Grok
bro.
video.
My new InfoWars gear keeps all the
real
globalists
gear.
and goblins away.
It's
Black
bad.
on black, murdered out shirt. Love it.
I love my new sweatshirt, and this methylene blue really rocks.
All right, here it goes.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation.
As many of you
All right, I'm going to let the video play through. All right, I'm not going to interrupt the rest of the video. But I want to stop the brother marrying Somalian that you just seen, Ilhan Omar. And I really quickly just want to say, you know, it's amazing. There's probably plenty of people around the world that are familiar with America, the United States specifically of America. But especially in America, here's what I can tell you. There's certain ethnicities that are certainly sewn into the fabric of America. I mean, undeniably. All right, just to rattle off a few: Italian, Irish, German, a little bit Polish, but not so much. All right, Hispanic. There's certain ethnicities and countries that are certainly sewn into the fabric of the United States of America. Nobody ever said Somalians, and you gotta be fucking joking me. Whoever said Somalians are sewn into the fabric of the United States of America is a damn lie. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play the rest of this report from John Bound.
know, Minnesota is drowning in fraud.
In Minnesota, a state with the largest Somali immigrant population in the United States, extensive welfare fraud schemes have siphoned billions of taxpayer dollars from federal and state programs, primarily orchestrated by members of the Somali community. The most notorious case, Feeding Our Future, involved fake nonprofits submitting bogus meal claims during the COVID-19 pandemic, defrauding over $250 million in child nutrition funds.
A brazen scheme of staggering proportions.
The largest pandemic fraud in the United States.
The subjects in this case weren't interested in feeding our future. They were interested in feeding their own gluttony.
We have new details on a jury tampering scheme at the center of a major fraud case. Federal prosecutors indicted 5 people for their roles in offering a juror $120,000 for a not guilty verdict in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. The U.S. attorney says the group targeted juror 52 because she was the youngest juror and appeared to be the only juror of color. According to court documents, they dug up information on her family online and even put a GPS tracking device on her car to track her whereabouts. During their investigation, investigators uncovered a video of one of the defendants leaving a bag of money at the juror's home.
Similar scams have targeted Medicaid's autism services, where providers inflated diagnoses among Somali children, jumping from $3 million in spending in 2018 to $399 million in 2023.
According to the charging documents, Hassan worked with others to recruit families from the Somali community, whether kids had autism or not. Prosecutors write that there was no child that Smart Therapy was not able to get qualified for autism services. Then, to drive up enrollment, they paid monthly kickbacks to families between $300 to $1,500 per child. Prosecutors say Hassan and her partners paid for it all through the millions worth of fraudulent Medicaid claims.
It didn't matter if the kids had autism. And what happened? Autism claims to Medicaid surged. In 2018, $3 million. By 2023, listen here, from $3 million to $400 million.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to let the report play out, the rest of the report, probably only another minute or so. But I want you to think about this. Somalians, fraud, Minnesota, autistic. Do these words ring a bell for you? Because they rung a bell for me. Brought me back to a specific memory that I'm sure you're gonna. If you don't recall it right now, you're certainly gonna recall it when I tell you. You're certainly gonna remember it. All right, but let me play the rest of this here report.
Housing stabilization programs created fictitious companies to build for non-existent services.
At the August trial for Abdi Fattah Yusuf, the jury heard evidence that he ran his home health care company Promise Health out of a mailbox at a Central Avenue address where multiple other home health care companies were supposedly located. Yusuf and his wife Lol Ahmed were charged with stealing $7.2 million of taxpayer money through Medicaid overbilling in a personal care assistant or PCA scam. Despite the jury swiftly convicting Yusuf, Judge Sarah West last week decided they got it wrong. Judge West ruled that the state's case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence. Jurors in the case can't believe the decision.
I am shocked. I'm shocked based off of all of the evidence that was presented to us and the obvious guilt that we saw based off of the said evidence. It was not a difficult decision whatsoever.
Federal prosecutors, led by acting U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson, have issued 77 indictments in the Feeding Our Future case alone, with additional charges in autism and welfare fraud totaling at least 28 scandals since 2019, amounting to an estimated $1 billion in losses. These frauds extend beyond mere theft, with investigations revealing that millions of the stolen funds were funneled back to Somalia through informal Hawala networks, ultimately supporting the Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group Al-Shabaab. Some defendants in the Feeding Our Future case donated to prominent Democrats, including Attorney General Keith Ellison, and lobbied figures like Representative Ilhan Omar and former Senator Omar Fateh, who advocated for the programs.
And I want to thank also Amy and her team, Feeding Our Future, for making this first court victory a reality.
Things are heating up as President Trump terminated temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota on November 22nd, 2025, labeling the state a hub of fraudulent money laundering under Waltz's watch. John Bound reporting for.
All right, so that was John Bound reporting for InfoWars. There, right there above me, you have the serious retard named Tim Walz, called out by President Donald Trump just the other day on Twitter. Let me just first start off by saying I'm all for get rid of all these Somalians up in Minnesota. Take away all their protective status. What's going to happen after you take away their protective status? I don't know. I don't know how dangerous. I imagine quite dangerous situation would be, because we all, I think a lot of us have come to realize that the COVID era or whatever, that pretty much fed into an amount of fraud that was probably unprecedented in the world. It certainly was not just Somalians getting down on the fraud, that's for sure. But, you know, one thing Somalians seemingly were doing was frauding the shit out of anybody and everybody that could fraud, getting away with all of it, all right? You know what I'm saying? All being swept under the rug. Why? So they could send back, first of all, they could live like fat and sassy here in America, number one, but also to send it back to Somalia for terrorist reasons. I mean, unimaginable, right? Or maybe some of us can't imagine it. All right, so things are heating up in Minnesota. But here goes my theory, right? And I'm sure a lot of people, it just, when they heard Minnesota, when they heard fraud, when they heard Somalians, when they heard autistic, it all just became very clear. All right? But I want to draw your attention back to an incident regarding a lady. Some of y'all might recall, I don't have it brought up, but I think you're going to remember exactly what I'm talking about. A lady calling a little boy a nigger word. She called him a nigger word like 5 times at a park in Minnesota. I forget what city, St. Paul or something like that. And then she went viral. You remember that? And they wanted to ruin this lady's life. This was a single mother of at least one child, calling some little boy the nigger word. All right, y'all might recall this was a Somalian little boy. Y'all might recall he was the person making the video referred to this boy as an autistic. All right, so that right there, it rung too many bells for me. All right, so I went ahead and I asked Grok. I said, "Hey, what's the name of that woman?" Because I forgot her name. Who went viral for calling little boy the nigger word at a park. All right, and her name was Shiloh Hendricks. Everybody gets to know her name. She was put on blast, and that's for sure. Her life and her livelihood was definitely put on the line, that's for sure. Instantaneously, just for calling a little boy the nigger word up in Minnesota. All right, but check this out. As you might recall, you might very well recall. See, I asked Grok about it. They said this went viral after showing Hendricks admitting to and repeating the nigger word toward a 5-year-old black boy. All right, a black boy described as Somalian and autistic. All right, I'll remind you, you never heard one word from that little boy. Who's to say he's autistic at all? All right, because the only person that called that little boy autistic was some strange, perverse man, as we came to find out, who allegedly was a friend of the family. Now, if you're truly a friend of the family, you will know that that child was not 5 years old. He was, in fact, 8 years old. Even Grok is confused by this. Said it went viral for calling this little boy, a 5-year-old black boy, the nigger word. All right, but really, in all reality, he was 8 years old, so he lied on that. He was a perverse. I forget what was all provably wrong with this man making the video, but he lied on the age. How much you want to bet? I want to bet everything that I got that this little boy did not have autism anyway. That this little boy's family, who wasn't even with him at the park, was just like the countless other Somalians in Minnesota, pulling off fraud and getting untold amount of benefits for it by calling their son autistic. There is no proof that this little child was autistic. Right? I seem to believe that he was acting like an N-word all over the place, trying to steal little kids' stuff. That's what a Somalian would do. That's their culture. Oh, far be it for some lady to call him the nigger word up in a park, even though that's probably exactly what he was acting like. And meanwhile, getting all sort of benefits for being autistic, and he ain't autistic. All right, I came to find out. I wanted to find out the little boy's name. You're never going to find out the little boy's name. The initials are YJ. It really doesn't matter because, of course, I wouldn't want anybody to hunt down this little boy or his family. I obviously don't want to do that anyways. I don't think it's worth it. All right, but what I did want to point out is that this was all probably lies. And there was probably N-words all about that park. Knowing Minnesota and how it's been taken over, here's a lady who's just overcome by N-words. She's drowning in N-words, and she's driven to the point, and they're all fat and sassy getting money for nothing. And they're stealing from her son and everything else. And at some point, she just reaches her breaking point. and calls out this little boy. Meanwhile, this little boy was probably never autistic, and his family was pulling all sort of fraud. I want to go down here because somewhere down here it explains something. The boy's parents issued a statement via the Rochester NAACP demanding accountability. How much you want to bet they were pulling all sort of fraud on the government, getting free money from your taxpayer pockets? And the government was loving it at the time. How much you want to bet that? Oh, but they get to come up in our country. They hate our country. They're demanding accountability in our country. What kind of accountability is there in Somalia, you motherfuckers? It's like, dude, it's like a disgusting civil war bullshit ass society called Somalia, and you're going to come to America, get free money, and demand accountability at the same time, while you're pulling all sort of untold amount of fraud at the same time. And the NAACP, get this, the NAACP knows full well that y'all motherfuckers were frauding every which way from every angle. And what did they do? They helped you get even more money. So y'all are demanding accountability, emphasizing the trauma. Oh, the trauma. I'm sorry we took you in and gave you free money all over the place. Oh, you're traumatized now because someone said a word that you probably didn't even understand. Inflicted upon your son, but chose anonymity to protect him. Well, the thing is, I don't care what's his name anyways. I'm not trying to take away his anonymity, but check this out. An NAACP fundraiser, meanwhile, the NAACP, they full well knew that y'all were committing fraud all over the place already. Oh, you think they didn't know? Oh, you don't think it was very easy to find out that your son's not even autistic? He's not even 5 years old? Y'all are committing fraud all over the place. An NAACP fundraiser in his name raised over $341,000 more dollars just in case they weren't getting enough free money. These people, the NAACP knew that these people were defrauding the government all over the place. But that wasn't even enough money. Here's $341,000 more dollars. Because all the free money that y'all got wasn't even enough for legal support and anti-racism efforts before closing at the family's request. They probably had more money at that point than they ever knew what to do with, probably. They were like, dude, we've committed so much fraud that we just don't even know how to spend all this money. So they went ahead and closed it. And the NAACP and all their enablers in the government, they were like, well, yeah, that's a job well done. This is exactly what we were doing all over your asses and calling y'all out for being a bad guy. We're going to try and ruin some single mother's life, all right, for calling a spade a spade. And we're going to commit fraud after fraud after fraud after fraud and smile in your face, point at you and say that we want accountability. Wow. I never could ever imagine such malarkey or tomfoolery. Anyways, I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. It is currently November the 30th, 2025.